is going to be the longest you've gone without checking your email?
Maybe.
Undoubtedly.
A record.
It's a necessary record.
Yes.
Slack off, email
Slack
off.
Phone on vibrate, phone far away.
All right, we came together today. We're gonna tell some stories about where we've been and where we're going. I'm Lauren Parker, I'm the president and CEO.
I'm Ann Mulvaney, and I'm our Chief Operating Officer.
And I'm Whitney Somerville. I'm our Chief Experience Officer.
So I remember the most consequential cup of coffee I ever drank, which was when I sat down with my now predecessor and was trying to figure out what the next move in my career was gonna be. At the time, I was working remote for an agency in New York and looking for my next move, not really knowing what it was gonna be. And he was the one that said, you have to meet Ann and Whit. And that was kind of when it all changed. I just remember leaving that first meeting after we talked for like 2 hours thinking, I really have to work with these ladies. Yeah. It feels like we've been working together forever.
Not long after we started working together, we took a trip to New York City to meet with really smart individuals to get ahead of the ownership transition and to really think about what does that look like, who can we talk to, what can we learn. And we decided to get one hotel room in New York City. After the end of very long days, we all went back to our
being frugal.
We were being frugal. We went back to our one room, and I'm so glad that we did that. Little did we know what was around the corner with the pandemic, and we didn't get to spend a lot of time in a room together for 2 years, so that trip has a lot of special meaning.
The other thing that I think we really clicked on very early was, okay, if we're gonna take this huge risk, then we need to make sure that we're creating the kind of business where we would want to be for the next 20 or 30 years. And that has really been our North Star for how we've made decisions, for how we've invested back in the business. And I think it's why, despite the many, many curveballs that we and everybody faced over the last couple of years, we've continued to grow exponentially and build a really kick-ass team, and I think find a lot of satisfaction and pride in what we've done.
We were able to take this agency that's been around for almost 40 years, and it was started by a woman in the early 80s, and we were able to take it back to those original roots as a women-owned business. And I think that that's an extraordinary thing that we were able to do. And I also think that the three of us, being three women, were uniquely suited to be able to tackle the challenge ahead of us. There's no ego in the room. It's just, what does the business need? What does the team need? And that's what we're gonna do.
We have been told that we have a shared brain.
Yeah.
I think we've experienced it more than once when, whether it's making a big decision or, just thinking about how we want to run the business. I think more often than not, the three of us are so closely aligned to the point where we can kind of finish each other's thoughts. And it served us really well. Again, I think early on we talked about how we were going to make big decisions, and I think there's always the challenge with three business owners that there could be an odd man out. And we basically aligned from the beginning that if we're ever in a situation where it's 2 against 1, that we just need to really think long and hard about why is the third not on board, and how can we come to a solution where all three of us do have that shared vision.
And people, I think, always ask, how does it work? How do 3 people make a shared decision? And
it's easier than you'd think.
Yeah, I think especially during the pandemic when we spent a lot more time virtually, people didn't always get to see behind the curtain and see how decisions are made, especially in a really tough time. But we do challenge each other. And while we are very closely aligned, we have different skill sets and we do think differently.
It always makes me laugh, and I know that we've all had this situation where, someone on our team calls us to help solve a problem. And it's because they think we have all the answers. And that's what I always want to say, I don't have all the answers. Just because we own the business doesn't mean that what we say is it's our way or the highway. I think what we share is this grit and a determination to just figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. We are incredibly smart. We have great experiences. We're gonna lean into our instincts. And at the end of the day, we do good work. And that's part of what I know we're trying to instill in our culture, yes, we do know what we're doing, but we don't necessarily have all the answers at all times. And so I think just kind of recognizing that was really freeing, where, you know, there are other entrepreneurs that they don't know everything. Like, I think that's kind of like the realization that everybody's just kind of figuring it out.
I think we've done a phenomenal job of taking a vision for operating and making decisions, putting it into practice, and to be totally honest, I don't think we could have survived COVID. The rate at which we had to make big decisions was unparalleled, and we had no prior experience to doing that, and the only reason we were able to do it is we trusted each other. We knew that if two of us had to make a call quickly, two of us would make a call and it would be the right one. We had such a great guiding star, and it was keep the team safe. That was it. Keep the team safe, and everything else will fall into place.
And it did.
And that was the only way that we could have made decisions in that time.
The first of many.
First of many.
It was a really
A
good
swear
like-
jar would be overflowing.
I could fund a startup. Single-handedly, a swear jar, I could start a startup.
Yeah.